Monday, June 8th, 2026.
Yeah.
Look, I need you to just burn that date into your memory right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you were sitting right here with us in the absolute epicenter of the Real Madrid war room. The dust has finally settled on, well, frankly, the most consequential, bloodiest election in this club's modern history.
Without a doubt, it's an earthquake.
Right. An absolute earthquake. The internal tracking numbers are fully verified now. The board is assembled. And, I mean, the results are incredibly violent. Florentino Perez hasn't just won re-election.
No, he's crushed them.
He has utterly, systematically crushed the opposition. We're looking at a 65% electoral mandate against Enrique Riquelme's 35%.
Which is just staggering.
It is, and you are here right now because you need to understand what is actually happening behind the closed doors of Valdebebas and the Santiago Bernabeu today.
We're pulling the curtain all the way back.
Exactly. We are breaking down the internal boardroom strategies, the aggressive tactical rebuild under the newly returned José Mourinho, the ticking time bombs in the locker room, and the total institutional war we have just declared on Barcelona.
Because this isn't a PR briefing.
No, this is the exact blueprint for the next decade of European football. And you're sitting at the table with us.
Let me just cut in right there. Because look, if you are sitting at this table looking at that 65% figure and thinking this is just, another standard election win, you are fundamentally misreading the reality.
Completely misreading it.
This is not a continuation of the status quo. I mean, this is a hostile takeover of the future of the sport. We are looking at an accelerated consolidation of institutional power.
And the clock is ticking.
It's deafening. We just got the internal word that the AFE arbitration, the players' union dispute is settled.
Right, the August start date.
Yes, La Liga officially starts on August 15th. We are staring down the barrel of a multi-front war with literally no off-season.
Not at all.
The Mourinho era begins immediately. And it begins with a mandate of absolute structural destruction of our rivals.
On the pitch and in the courts. Let's aggressively break down this electoral reality first, because the raw data we are looking at is just staggering.
It obliterates the media narrative.
Completely. Florentino swept all 60 electoral tables. Every single one. And let me explain what that means mechanically for you. The voting census is broken down by member numbers, right?
From the oldest socios down to the kids?
Exactly. From the guys who've been here since Di Stefano all the way down to the newest, youngest members. Now, Riquelme's entire campaign was built on this premise that the younger demographics were, exhausted by Florentino's rigid corporate structure.
He's promising socio-romanticism.
Right. A return to the fans. And what happened? It was completely false. Florentino dominated the youth vote just as violently as he dominated the veterans.
They want dominance, not romanticism.
Exactly. This 65% is the second best result in the entire history of the club. It only sits behind that massive 95% mandate back in 2004.
But look, here is the crucial internal detail. The micro battle happening literally this morning that tells you everything about how ruthless this administration is.
You're talking about the annulled votes.
I am. 1,000 mail-in votes were annulled by the Electoral Board. Mechanically, how does that even happen?
The notary checks, right?
Right. In our elections, mail-in ballots have to pass a rigorous notary check. The signature has to precisely match the digital signature on the member's DNI in our internal census.
And the optical scanners flagged 1,000 of them.
Exactly. Formatting errors, missing timestamps, blurred notary seals. Now, Florentino has already won. The 65% is locked in, it's verified. He doesn't need those 1,000 votes.
But they're appealing them anyway.
Yes. They are taking the Electoral Board to the absolute limit over 1,000 discarded ballots. And you have to ask why.
Because it's about crushing the narrative.
100%. He wants to push that mandate closer to 70%. Look, Riquelme is sitting in his office today calculating that his 35% block is a shield.
He thinks it's a veto block.
Exactly. To change the club's statutes, which, let's be honest, is Florentino's ultimate plan to corporatize the club and compete with state-owned teams, you need a supermajority.
And Riquelme thinks 35% can block that.
Right. But by fighting for those 1,000 annulled votes, Florentino is sending a terrifying message. He is saying, I will fight you for every single decimal point until your veto power is mathematically obliterated.
It's not a shield at all. Riquelme's 35% is, well, it's a speed bump for a tank.
A speed bump, exactly.
And speaking of tanks, let's pivot immediately to the club's first official act post-election. Because the internal memo just circulated, and I mean, it is explosive.
No champagne toast at Valdebebas today.
None. The very first act was deploying a massive 500-page internal dossier straight to the desks of UEFA's Alexander Ceferin and FIFA's Gianni Infantino.
Pelicano 1.0 and 2.0.
Yes, the Negreira dossier. It is a calculated nuclear strike on Barcelona. We're not just casually asking for a fine or a one-year Champions League ban.
We are going straight for the jugular. Let's strategically extrapolate what's actually inside those 500 pages.
Because it's unprecedented.
Completely. The calculation here is deep and cold. The demand from Madrid is official. We are demanding the retroactive stripping of Barcelona's titles won during the Negreira years.
Erasing them from the history books.
Literally utilizing UEFA and FIFA's reputational framework so they can never presume to hold those honors again. It's a historical obliteration.
Okay, but I have to challenge you on this. Or rather, challenge our own legal department's strategy here.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at the legal frameworks right now. Does UEFA even have the jurisdictional power to strip domestic La Liga titles or historical Copa del Rey trophies?
It's a massive gray area.
Right? Isn't that strictly the jurisdiction of the RFEF? Or maybe FIFA at the absolute highest level? Why throw a 500-page dossier at Ceferín's wall when UEFA only oversees the Champions League?
Are we just creating a PR storm?
Exactly. Is there an actual legitimate legal mechanism that makes this enforceable?
You are hitting on the exact legal gray area that Florentino is exploiting. You really need to understand the political leverage at play here.
Walk us through it.
You're right. UEFA's direct statutory jurisdiction is strictly over European competitions under Article 4.02.
Admission based on ethical match-fixing rules.
Right. But by sending this dossier simultaneously to Infantino at FIFA, Madrid is deliberately bypassing the paralyzed, politically compromised domestic Spanish Federation.
So it's not about the strict letter of the law.
Not at all. It is sheer political aggression. We have to maintain absolute impartiality regarding the actual courtroom verdict of the Negreira case.
Right. Whatever a Spanish judge eventually decides, money laundering, tax fraud, bribery is out of our hands.
Exactly. And frankly, as internal strategists, we don't care about the final legal determination of guilt. What we care about is the leverage it provides us today.
Using the weight of a 65% electoral mandate.
Yes. We are forcing Ceferín and Infantino into a corner. Look, Infantino desperately needs Madrid's cooperation and brand power for his expanded Club World Cup, right?
And Ceferín needs us to drop the Super League threat.
Exactly. He needs us to legitimize his new Swiss model Champions League. So Florentino is putting the dossier on their desk and saying, if you want our cooperation, you must act as the executioner for Barcelona.
Wow. It is a terrifyingly brilliant political squeeze.
Institutional warfare, pure and simple.
Trading our global commercial compliance for the historical execution of our biggest rival.
Yeah.
It's breathtaking. But let's take this warfare from the boardroom directly to the pitch.
Yes, the tactical blueprint.
Because the internal sporting strategy is crystal clear, and I am absolutely fired up about what's being drawn up downstairs right now. The official return of José Mourinho.
The era of defensive fragility is dead.
It died the second the election results were certified. Relying purely on vibes, getting exposed in transition, hoping our goalkeeper makes 9 miraculous saves a game that's over.
The new defensive blueprint is locked.
Ibrahima Konate from Liverpool is secured. Denzel Dumfries from Inter Milan is secured. We are not just buying players, we are building a fortress.
And you have to understand Mourinho's absolute pathological obsession with structural balance.
To see why Konate and Dumfries specifically.
Exactly. We are looking at the implementation of an asymmetrical defense. This is high-level tactical geometry.
Break it down mechanically for everyone sitting with us here.
So with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Denzel Dumfries locking down the right side, you have 2 ultra-offensive, high-velocity weapons.
They aren't traditional fullbacks.
Right. They're going to push incredibly high. They'll live in the opponent's half, providing the width and crossing volume Mourinho demands. But Mourinho demands equilibrium.
The revolving door concept.
Yes. Think of the back line like a revolving door. If the right side pushes aggressively out the front, the left side must swing inward to seal the draft at the back.
A mechanism of constant, unbroken equilibrium.
Mourinho demands a left back who is not bombing down the wing. He needs someone who can seamlessly tuck inside and transform the back line into an impenetrable back 3 in transition.
Which brings us to the absolutely massive debate happening in the recruitment war room right now.
The 2 names on the whiteboard.
Right. The 70 million euro Croatian, JOŠKO GVARDIOL, versus the 55 million euro Italian, Riccardo Calafiori. Let's look at GVARDIOL first.
Our internal scouting data shows he's fundamentally unhappy at Manchester City.
Unhappy under Enzo Maresca, exactly. Last season was a disaster for him physically and systematically. A fractured tibia limited him to just 18 Premier League matches.
And only 5 in the Champions League.
Right. City paid $90 million for him, and their front office desperately wants to renew his contract to protect that amortized investment.
But he's looking at Madrid.
He's looking at the Mourinho revolution. He knows his profile as a wide center back fits this asymmetrical system perfectly. He wants in.
He does, but you have to counter that with Calafiori at Arsenal.
Valued at $55 million.
Right. Mikel Arteta has benched him, preferring Piero Hincapie's specific ball-carrying metrics on that left side.
And Arsenal paid $43 million for Calafiori just a couple of years ago.
So the margin for a deal that allows them to recoup their investment is highly feasible. But here is the critical internal factor.
The thing analytics can't quantify.
Exactly. Mourinho personally launched Calafiori's career from the Roma Youth Academy. There is a deep, pre-existing psychological bond there.
Mourinho loves soldiers he's built himself.
He does. Calafiori is cheaper, fully healthy, fits the tucked-in center-back profile perfectly, and most importantly, he is a Mourinho loyalist.
But making either of these deals happen requires a financial and human casualty.
The ruthless reality of the rebuild.
Fran Garcia must be sold immediately. There is no room for sentimentality. Furthermore, we just heavily invested $50 million into Alvaro Carreras last summer.
He was supposed to be the star acquisition.
The marauding wingback of the future. And now, 12 months later, Mourinho walks into the building and demands an entirely different profile.
You have to sacrifice them to clear the space.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the amortization of that, because it's brutal accounting.
Break it down.
Fran Garcia's book value is virtually zero because he came from our academy. So any fee we get is pure, unadulterated profit on the PSR ledger.
But Carreras is the complicated one.
Very complicated. We bought him for $50 million on a 5-year deal. That means we amortize his cost at $10 million per year. 1 year in, his remaining book value is $40 million.
So if we sell him for less than $40 million...
we actually take an accounting loss. But you cannot hold on to redundant profiles when you are operating with this level of tactical urgency.
Carreras wants to overlap. Mourinho needs him to sit deep.
The tactical dissonance is glaring. Mourinho won't tolerate a squad that doesn't fit his exact geometric specifications, even if it means taking a $10 million accounting hit.
Okay, let me throw a wild, passionate theory at you.
Let's hear it.
Something buzzing in the absolute deepest corners of the club whispered in the Valdebebas corridors. Pepe.
Oh, man.
Hear me out. He just retired. He is a free agent in life. Could he return as an assistant coach under Mourinho, embed himself in the dressing room, enforce the new cultural standards?
And register as a player in a crisis.
Exactly. In the event of a catastrophic injury crisis in November, actually step onto the pitch.
Look, it sounds like absolute madness on the surface. A 43-year-old Pepe pulling the boots back on.
But is it impossible?
You have to deeply analyze the brutal, win-at-all-costs psychological warfare that Mourinho is bringing back. Would Mourinho activate a 43-year-old Pepe to play 15 minutes of blood and thunder low-block defense at the Allianz Arena?
To protect a 1-0 lead.
Absolutely. Without hesitation. Mourinho wants warriors who will literally bleed for the badge. Pepe represents the ideological extreme of what Mourinho demands.
Whether the registration happens or not, the fact that it's a serious conversation tells you everything.
The country club era is officially over.
Total culture shock. Which brings me to the midfield, because this is where the tactical and financial realities get incredibly complicated.
Phantom offer?
Right.
All right.
During the campaign, Florentino continually teased a massive €150 million offer for a superstar. Was that a real, calculated tactical maneuver, or just an electoral smokescreen?
It was undoubtedly a projection of power, a flex of the sovereign financial muscle to secure that 65% mandate.
But it's rooted in a real crisis.
Deeply rooted in a terrifying technical crisis on the pitch. The midfield right now is a void. We desperately need structural integrity.
Just look at Jude Bellingham's heat maps from the final 3 months of last season.
He is suffocating out there.
Mechanically, what is happening to him?
Bellingham needs to be an explosive box-to-box terror. Arriving late, crashing the box, disrupting the opponent's defensive shape.
But he absolutely cannot do that without a disciplined orchestrator behind him.
We're right now, because we lack that profile, when Bellingham receives the ball, he is dropping 15 to 20 yards too deep just to collect it from the center backs.
By the time he turns, the low block has set.
He has 3 men collapsing on him. He's being asked to build the play from the first third and finish it in the final third. The physiological and tactical burden is breaking him.
The pulley system is broken. An orchestrator sits deep, pulls the press toward the halfway line, and opens up the half spaces for Bellingham to crash into.
Without the anchor, the pulley doesn't work.
So we throw out the names dominating the internal whiteboards. João Neves, Vitinha, Enzo Fernandez.
Let's analyze the viability. Let me aggressively shut down the PSG players right now.
Neves and Vitinha.
Extracting them from Paris is virtually impossible. It is a political non-starter. They operate in a closed ecosystem with unlimited state backing from Qatar.
You can't bully them financially?
They don't need our $150 million. They don't have to balance the books like a traditional club. Negotiating with Nasser Al-Khelaifi is a fool's errand.
But let me push back on that logic. What about Enzo Fernandez?
At Chelsea.
Yes. If Florentino actually has that $150 million in liquid capital ready to deploy, Chelsea is a fundamentally different beast than PSG.
Because of the PSR books.
Exactly. They are trapped by the Premier League's profitability and sustainability rules. Think of it like a strict credit limit over a rolling 3-year period.
They've spent billions and are teetering on a massive points deduction.
Amortizing a €150 million sale immediately clears their compliance deficit for this fiscal year. They have to sell high-value assets by June 30th.
So Florentino picks up the phone.
He knows they're desperate. $150 million gets Enzo on a plane to Madrid tomorrow morning because their accounting department will force it through.
You are 100% correct on the financial mechanics. Chelsea would take the money, but it would be a catastrophic tactical error for us.
Why? He's a world-class talent.
I will argue this passionately against anyone in recruitment. Enzo Fernandez is structurally too similar to Jude Bellingham.
The spatial geometry.
Look at how they play. Enzo takes 80 touches a game, mostly in the left half space and central attacking zones. He wants to operate in the exact same spaces Jude needs to occupy.
Enzo wants to carry the ball and dictate tempo high up the pitch.
If you spend $150 million on a redundant profile, you haven't solved the deficit. You've only created a €150 million traffic jam.
Mourinho needs a structural anchor who stays behind the ball.
Spending that capital on Enzo would be institutional malpractice. It would cripple Jude's output.
Traffic jam is the perfect phrase. Because if you want to see a real, undeniable crisis, look at our attack. We were sitting on a ticking time bomb.
Vinicius Jr.
This is the most explosive internal crisis we have on our hands. His contract is winding down. He is demanding $30 million net per year to renew.
That's $60 million gross. It completely shatters our internal wage structure.
And the threat of him walking away for absolutely free in 2027 is a dark shadow paralyzing the entire sporting direction.
Here is the massive, highly controversial, but absolutely necessary internal take gaining traction downstairs.
Go on.
Real Madrid must execute a ruthless power play this summer. We cannot wait and let the player dictate the timeline.
So what's the play?
You either sell Vinicius right now to the highest bidder, Saudi Arabia or the Premier League, for 50 or 60 million, cut your losses and fund the midfield orchestrator. Or you sit him down in the executive office and threaten to banish him to the stands for the entire 2026-2027 season.
That is brutal.
Look at the tactical reality. Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius are fundamentally clashing. Mbappe naturally drifts to the left wing. Vinicius exclusively operates on the left wing.
They're stepping on each other's toes.
Yeah.
The spatial geometry is ruined.
Vinicius is being forced to receive the ball wider and deeper, or cram himself inside where the center backs swallow him. The tactical output is suffering.
But I have to challenge the idea of selling Vinicius. I understand the tactical clash and the wage structure threat.
How do you justify keeping him at that price?
Because if you sell him for $60 million, you aren't just selling a player, you are surrendering the entire Brazilian commercial market.
The secondary revenue streams.
Exactly. The sponsorship drop-off in South America alone would cost us the $50 million you think we are saving in wages.
But the machine...
Think about the Nike partnerships, the broadcast optics, the global brand value of having the dynamic Brazilian icon. How do you mathematically justify cutting off a massive pillar of our commercial revenue just to solve a spatial issue on the left wing?
You justify it by reminding the board that the machine is bigger than any single component.
Is it?
You have to remind the listener of our history. We built the ultimate winning machines by executing brutal, necessary sales.
You're thinking of Di Maria.
Yes. We sold Angel Di Maria immediately after he won us the Decima, and everyone said it was commercial suicide. We sold Mesut Ozil when he was the best playmaker in the world.
Gonzalo Higuain.
We generated the massive capital injections required to fund the next evolution of the squad. You don't hold on to players just because you like their commercial footprint. You hold on to them because they fit the machine.
If the machine requires structural balance, you sacrifice the redundant asset.
Exactly.
And look at the collateral damage of keeping him. We have generational young talent suffocating on the bench because of this gridlock.
Endrick and Nico Paz.
Endrick cannot be shoehorned into the right wing. It completely neutralizes his explosive central power. And Nico Paz is returning from his loan, developed immensely, and has absolutely zero space to play.
He's going to rot on the bench.
Unless the Vinicius-Mbappe dynamic is resolved.
Let's strategically extrapolate the Nico Paz situation because this is where the financial engineering gets brilliant.
He's going to the World Cup with Argentina this summer.
Right. If he explodes on that global stage, scores 2 goals, dominates a knockout game, and suddenly his global valuation spikes to 80 million, Madrid must ruthlessly cash in.
No sentimentality for Academy products.
None. An 80 million sale of pure Academy profit completely rewrites our PSR capabilities for the next 3 years. It's a financial masterstroke.
I am 100% with you on the financial pragmatism. But, you know, it's hard to let go of a glimmer of absolute magic.
Yeah.
Take Arda Güler.
I knew you'd bring him up.
What do we do with a player like that? You cannot deny his talent. He just won La Liga's goal of the season for that insane 65-meter strike against Elche.
It was spectacular, yes.
A moment of pure genius. The vision to see the keeper off his line, the biomechanical execution. It proves he has generation-defining quality.
I am not denying the talent, but put yourself in Mourinho's shoes for a second. I am asking the hard tactical question.
Where does he fit?
Where does a luxury playmaker with known defensive liabilities actually fit into Mourinho's rigid, structurally uncompromising system?
Mourinho demands all 11 players suffer without the ball.
Exactly. Does Güler suffer? Look at the tracking data. Can he sustain the defensive sprints to track back for 90 minutes in a low block?
Probably not.
Picture this. 88th minute in Munich, Champions League semifinal, we are up 1-0, and Bayern is overloading the flanks. Do you trust a 19-year-old Arda Güler to make a lung-busting 40-yard recovery run?
To cover the overlapping fullback.
Would you risk the Champions League semifinal on it? Talent is utterly irrelevant if it compromises the structural integrity of the fortress.
That is the brutal, uncompromising reality of the Mourinho era. Now let's pivot to the macro level, the massive economic engine driving all of this.
Because the calendar clash is unprecedented.
The club received internal confirmation this morning. La Liga officially defeated the AFE in binding arbitration.
So we start August 15th.
The 2026-2027 season begins the weekend of August 15th. The union was begging to delay it until August 23rd because of the brutal schedule of the expanded North American World Cup.
The physical toll on the squad is going to be immense.
Deep into July, in massive humidity across the U.S. and Mexico, and then physically and mentally reset by mid-August.
The biomechanics department is terrified. This is exactly why Mourinho needs a massive, deep squad of robust soldiers rather than luxury players.
You cannot survive a 70-game season with 14 trusted players.
The muscle fatigue accumulation will be off the charts, injury risk skyrocketing. The sports science department is sounding the alarm.
But Florentino isn't just looking at August. He is looking at 2030 and beyond. He is future-proofing the empire against the shifting economic realities.
The off-pitch legacy project.
Exactly. The Infinite Bernabeu immersive Apple experience. Virtual reality match days, utilizing Apple's VR so if a man in Tokyo or Buenos Aires can buy a digital ticket, sit in a virtual VIP seat, and experience the match in real time.
Monetizing the hundreds of millions of fans who will never physically step foot in Madrid.
And the Valdivia Tech Hub, turning our training ground into a Silicon Valley of sports science, biomechanical data collection, and AI-driven scouting.
We must stress this. These are not vanity projects. Do not think this is just Florentino building monuments to his legacy.
They are survival engines.
Absolutely required to survive the era of state-owned clubs. We cannot rely solely on broadcast rights and shirt sales.
The Premier League TV deal dwarfs ours. PSG and City have unlimited sovereign wealth.
The Infinite Bernabeu's microtransactions and the Tech Hub's data monetization are designed to generate the alternate revenue streams needed to compete. We are building a tech company that happens to play football.
Which brings us to the ultimate question, the very core of this deep dive. All of this, the Mourinho hire, the massive VR projects, the aggressive 500-page UEFA lawsuits against Barcelona.
It's all setting the stage
for the final, irreversible phase of Florentino's master plan, potentially changing the club's ownership model. changing the statutes.
Moving away from the socio-owned 50+1 model.
Turning Real Madrid from a member-owned sporting club into a privatized, unsinkable corporate leviathan.
That is the end game. Everything we have discussed today serves that singular purpose. The 65% mandate was step one, proving he has the backing.
The tactical rebuild under Mourinho is step two, keeping the populace happy with silverware.
He is consolidating power legally, tactically, and financially, so when he finally proposes the statute change to bring in massive external equity, the momentum is entirely unstoppable.
So let's recap this breathless, multi-front war we are currently fighting from inside this room.
It's a lot to process.
We are executing an asymmetrical defensive overhaul, requiring the immediate sale of recent investments like Fran Garcia and Alvaro Carreras.
Right.
We are trying to solve a €150 million midfield puzzle, acknowledging our top targets are locked in state-owned fortresses, while avoiding the trap of redundant profiles like Enzo Fernandez.
A delicate balance.
We are staring down a terrifying standoff with Vinicius Jr. that could result in the €60 million sale of a Ballon d'Or contender to protect the wage structure.
And waging total institutional war against Barcelona.
Exactly, utilizing legal gray areas in UEFA to extract maximum political leverage.
It is the most volatile, high-stakes cocktail of tactical and political risk we have seen in decades. Every decision has a massive butterfly effect.
It really does.
And I leave you, sitting here in the war room, with this chilling question to ponder as this chaotic summer unfolds. We have seen Florentino build the Galacticos, and we have seen him tear them down without a second thought when the machine required it.
Right.
With Jose Mourinho's ruthless pragmatism now steering the tactical ship, ask yourself, what if the ultimate casualty of this new era isn't a rival club, but one of our own untouchable superstars who simply refuses to bleed for the badge?
Brace yourselves. Keep your eyes on the data and your ears to the ground. This is going to be the most chaotic, ruthless summer in recent club history. We are operating at the absolute limit of what this institution can handle. Stay sharp.